Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Hello, and here I am again. It is December 3rd, and it is, well, actually, it's 12:01 a.m., so actually, technically, it is 12:04 Wednesday, but we'll consider it the 3rd because I'm kind of doing it, I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway, let's get into the news. All right, we are going to go here first, and I've covered everybody that has donated, so we just have to get right straight into the news, and that will be it. I'm not sure how long my voice will continue, but as long as it does, we'll keep covering. All right, as a 27-year-old staff attorney for the White House, or for the House Judiciary Committee during the Watergate investigation, Hillary Rodham Clinton was fired by her supervisor, lifelong Democrat Jerry Zeifman. And this is Hillary here. Yeah, and we covered this before, that Hillary had been fired from the House Judiciary Committee during the Watergate investigation. Now, when asked why Hillary Rodham was fired, Zeifman said in an interview, because she was a liar. She was an unethical, dishonest lawyer. She conspired to violate the Constitution, the rules of the House, the rules of the committee, and the rules of confidentiality. Well, so if people think that maybe she became corrupt over the years, no, she was corrupt all along. But this doesn't surprise me at all. What surprises me is that so few people know about it. That's what surprises me. Now, I wanted to cover this as well because, and I found this on Reddit. I think that it's important. 10 strange things about the London Bridge terrorism incident, in no particular order. 1. A terrorist attack happened in the exact same area just before the last election took place in 2017. Coincidentally, there was a BBC reporter on the bridge both times. Things that make you go, The attacker supposedly had a knife duct taped to each hand. How is this possible without help is beyond me. Yeah, how would you do that? Update, London-based free newspaper Metro is reporting that only one of his knives was taped on. Who tapes a knife onto their hand? I don't know. There's no blood on the knife the civilian carried away from the incident. There was also no sign of damage or bending. Kitchen knives are actually really crap for stabbing or hacking people. Not that I would know that, and I don't know how they know that, but apparently they do. The blade may be sharp, but they're truly not designed for either activity. No, I would say not. Aerial footage from the BBC helicopter showed a jackknifed white truck across the bridge. Armed police could be seen surrounding it and approaching it slowly with caution. The BBC presenter said that they had received reports that police had fired at the truck, causing it to stop. This was never mentioned again. Now, I know that probably if you've seen the footage from it, you'll remember that white truck, and it was actually parked this way, which was blocking traffic, the traffic flow. So it's never been explained to us or to anyone that I'm aware of what it was doing there and why it was jackknifed across the lanes. Why were the police shooting at it? Don't know. They've never mentioned it again, which is odd, very odd. The BBC spoke to a bunch of people on the telephone who had directly witnessed the event. Several of them reported 2 series of gunshots, which fits in with the police firing at the truck. Most of the phone calls were replayed in the rolling coverage, but not the ones that mentioned 2 lots of shots. The civilian with the knife takes a white bag out of his pocket and discards it in a curiously exaggerated fashion. Was that a signal? I don't know if it was a bag. To me, it looked more like a Kleenex or a note. But whatever it was exaggerated. And what was it? There's been no explanation. Footage exists of the terrorist sitting back up again, despite the fact that he's been shot twice at point-blank range and badly beaten by the narwhal tusk ninja and the dudes with fire extinguishers. Yeah, this guy's like, really, he takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Footage exists. Okay, we just read that. The speed that the authorities declared the terrorist to be a lone wolf was far too fast, literally the next morning. That surely wasn't long enough for the intelligence agencies to track down and interview everyone he hung out with, looked at everything on his electronic devices, and examined all possible links to terrorism organizations. And 10, everyone's been named now, the poor victims and the brave vigilantes, all except for the civilian. And it was my understanding that the civilian was a off-duty police officer. What are the odds? All right. Oh, and now it says that update. Several sources are reporting him as being an off-duty British transport policeman. So there you go. Right place, right time. The reporter's there. The policeman's there. Yeah, the guy with the narwhal tusk, who was out on a day pass from prison. What are the odds of that? Gee, if I was out on a day pass from prison, I don't think I would want to do anything to draw attention to myself. But, you know, if he was there, I mean, what was he doing at the fishmonger's hall anyway? I don't know. But, yeah, apparently he saw somebody attacked and he grabbed the narwhal tusk. Now, I'm not laughing. If that's all you have to wage war with, well, you grab a narwhal tusk. So, what do you do? All right. Oh my gosh. This is what happens. I've been talking for an hour and my voice is going. I'll try a fisherman's friend. And I'll see if I can keep propping my voice up until I get through. If not, then I will spare you the agony of listening to this. Okay. Now, this is interesting. Well, I think it is. And I think you will think it is too. Although I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Haitian Senate President, Clintons are common thieves and they should be in jail. I agree with that. I just can't wait until they are in jail. Because I think that our country will be, well, I think the world in general will be a much safer place with them in prison. Jerry Nadler and the Democrats just announced oh, this is recent post. Never mind. We'll come down here and read the real post. A witness to the Clinton Foundation's crooked dealings in Haiti says essentially nothing has been done to help the casualties of the 2010 earthquake in Haiti that asserted an unexpected 200,000 lives, and that the Clintons are nothing more than everyday thieves who should be in prison. Sandy Rios of American Family Radio talked with previous Haitian Senate President Bernard Sansarik, I can't pronounce that, and the irritated Haitian had no good thing to offer about the Clintons. Well, would you expect him to? He furiously asserted that they brought their pay-to-play politics to Haiti to the detriment of the Haitian citizens. The guy with the last name that I can't pronounce claimed that the Clinton Foundation got $14.3 billion in gift cash to help with the aid project. President Obama and UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon put the Clinton Foundation accountable for the recreation, yet Haiti has seen no assistance. The cash all went to companions of Bill Clinton. Well, naturally, where did you think it would go? The only thing they were interested in Haiti is the trafficking of the children. And we will probably never know how many children were trafficked out of there and how many children had their organs sold on the black market. And I know that there was very odd things going on because I remember the coverage of that, and I remember maybe some of you remember this as well, them saying, oh, you know, they had found this cooler full of eyes. Now, that's interesting, don't you think? What was that cooler of eyes for? Okay, now, it is presently known on account of WikiLeaks that the State Department plotted with the Clinton Foundation to ensure that those multi-million-dollar agreements would truly go to companions of Bill. According to PJ Media, email exchanges exposed Clinton Foundation authorities in the hours after the monstrous earthquake, contacting a senior helper to the then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who repeatedly gave special attention to those identified by the abbreviations FOB, Friends of Bill, or WJC, VIPs, William Jefferson Clinton, VIPs. They are nothing but common thieves, the angered guy whose name I can't pronounce explained to Rios, and they should be in jail. He claimed that Bill Clinton turned into a power financier specialist in Haiti in 1994 when he attacked Haiti to reestablish democracy. He wanted to have power in Haiti even after his presidency. The guy whose name I can't pronounce added. He asserted that he turned into the leader of the Senate. He asserted that after he turned into the leader of the Senate, President Clinton attempted to buy him out and make him the richest man in Haiti. He says he revealed to Clinton he was not available to be purchased. From that point forward, his visa was revoked by a Clinton executive order. We, the people, knew this and knew that they were the most corrupt organization in the history of America. Do you agree with this gentleman from Haiti? Would you like to see them behind bars? Oh, heck yes. Yes. And, you know, I want them, I'm not going to say that I want them swinging from a rope because I don't wish death on anyone, but I do want them to be met with justice, and I want justice for all the victims, which some of them will never see justice because a lot of them are actually dead. Let's go back now, and we're not going to cover the negative impact of sugar on the brain, but that is something that I was reading earlier. Now, what am I doing? I don't know. Do you know? Okay. Now, let's look at this. Democrats kill a bill for tuition assistance for children of veterans killed in battle. Now, who would do that? Who would kill a bill for tuition assistance for children of U.S. veterans killed in battle? Democrats would. Then, okay, to add insult to injury, they approve giving illegals free tuition. Yeah, let's not assist the kids, our veterans that have been killed in battle, serving our country. Yeah, let's not give them anything. Not even tuition assistance, but let's give the illegals free tuition. On election day, this is all you need to know. Retweet the heck out of this. I intend to. All right. Now, let's get to this. Over 300 Trump campaign ads taken down by Google and YouTube. How are they getting away with this? According to a recently released report by 60 Minutes, over 300 of President Trump 2020 campaign ads were taken down by Google and YouTube for violating their terms of service. The reporters couldn't find any apparent reason why the ads were taken down. We found very little transparency in the transparency report, 60 Minutes said. Yeah. 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl asked Wojcicki, have you taken down any of President Trump's ads at all? YouTube CEO responded, there are ads of President Trump that were not approved to run on Google or YouTube. When pressed for an example, Wojcicki added, well, they're available in our transparency report. In response to concerns raised after the 2016 election cycle, Google and YouTube, like Facebook, kept a searchable archive of political ads that have run on the site. 60 Minutes reviewed the archive to learn more about President Trump's problematic political ads. We found that over 300 video ads were taken down by Google and YouTube, mostly over the summer, for violating company policy. But the archive doesn't detail what policy was violated. Was it a copyright violation, a lie or extreme inaccuracy, faulty grammar, bad punctuation? It's unclear. The ads determined to be offending are not available to be screened. We found very little transparency in the transparency report. Yes, and what do you expect? Right? I mean, people that lose their YouTube channels, people that are taken off of Facebook, kicked off of, or not Facebook, well, Facebook too, but Twitter, they never know. They'll say something like, they'll say something, but it doesn't make sense because it doesn't really apply. So I don't think they have to give a reason, really. Well, they don't think they do anyway. The Trump campaign has strongly condemned the social media platforms for their constant censorship ahead of the 2020 election. In late November, Google announced that they would stop allowing advertisers to use voting data to make their ads. We're limiting election ads audience targeting to the following general categories: age, gender, and general location, postal code level, said a Google spokesman. Political advertisers can, of course, continue to do contextual targeting, such as serving ads to people reading or watching a story about, say, the economy. President Trump's campaign manager, Brad Parscale, made sure to shred Google in a tweet, noting how the rule change led directly to suppressing voter turnout. And this is the tweet by Brad Parscale. Google's latest arbitrary rule changes are a blatant attempt to suppress voter information, knowledge, and engagement in the 2020 election. These actions will lead directly to suppressing voter turnout. And isn't that exactly what they want? That's what they want. That's why they're banning them, right? Of course. Joint statement of Trump 2020 campaign, NRSC and NRCC regarding big tech attempt to suppress voter turnout. Google's latest arbitrary rule changes are a blatant attempt to suppress voter information, knowledge, and engagement in the 2020 election. These actions will lead directly to suppressing voter turnout. There can be no denying that President Trump and his campaign have built and the rest isn't there. Oh, here it is. Okay, now I got to find where we were again. Okay, there can be no denying that President Trump and his campaign have built the greatest digital operation in all of politics, and that Google's decision will disproportionately impact both the Trump operation and all of the Republican candidates and organizations that derive strength from it. What's more, given the growing and documented cases of anti-conservative bias in Silicon Valley, we are highly skeptical that such a ban would be applied equally to conservatives and liberal organizations. Well, of course it isn't. But it's not just Republicans and President Trump supporter. Millions of Americans rely on Google's platform to get involved in our democratic process, from educating themselves on the issues to becoming more politically engaged with candidates and to learning when and where to cast their vote. By severely restricting political advertising, Google is stifling the ability of citizens to participate in our democracy. This will affect voters in the Democratic primaries as well as in the 2020 general election. And that's exactly what they're aiming for. It's unreal. I don't know. I would never have believed that that we would get to a place such as we're at. And to tell you the truth, I mean, there's no more up here. There's no more freedom than there is there. Our freedom of expression and our rights to free speech are severely restricted here. And I can't see that getting better. Now, I can hope, I can be cautiously optimistic, but it's quickly approaching a point of no return. Now, I think we're in a critical time right now. In December, I think there's going to be a lot happening over the next little while. So I guess it remains to be seen. All right. There can be no denying that President Trump and his campaign have built the greatest. Okay, that is what we just read there. And what are your thoughts? Well, I think you know my thoughts. And it says, Google has made an extraordinarily poor decision which will lead to less informed voters, lower voter engagement, and voter suppression. The statement finished, urging Google to immediately reverse its decision. Well, I don't see that happening either, because they believe that they are above the law. All right, let's go back now, because there's more. There's always more. All right. I don't know what this is. I can't remember. But let's go and take a look at it. Or not. Okay, let's look at this then. No, really. Let's. Oh, yes. Now I know what this is. Okay. This is Round Rock, Texas. And this shows where it is. It's just, let me see here. Let me make this a little smaller so you can see. It's just north of Austin, Texas on Interstate 35. Okay. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because they're calling for crisis actors in this area. Now, I think I have a link to the actual article. Or, well, I thought it was here. So let me just see here. Let me see if I can find this for you. This is thanks to Triple H, Heather H in Houston. She sent me this, and of course, we need to be very, very diligent because, you know, when there's, here it is. Role player registration, Round Rock, Texas. Human Domain Solutions, LLC, is now hiring Casualty Role Player, CRP, to participate in a National Guard Bureau Disaster and Emergency Response Training exercise taking place December 3rd to 7th near Round Rock, Texas. CRP actors will assist in providing training. Let me make this bigger because, yeah, it's small. Teeny tiny, and it must be really teeny tiny to you tiny phone people. All right, so the actors will assist in providing training, okay, aimed at purposefully strengthening security and resilience through systematic preparation for threats that pose the greatest risk to the security of the nation. Emergency responders will exercise search and rescue, medical trauma treatment, and first aid application in order to expand and strengthen communication, coordination, and integration. As such, CRPs will be moulaged, application of injury makeup and fake blood to portray various physical and emotional injuries and conditions before going through simulated medical triage and decontamination processes. Ooh, decontamination. Multiple times during the exercise, HDS seeks diversity among our CRPs, including gender, ethnicity, age, body types, disabilities, and foreign language abilities. Participants fluent in American Sign Language are also desired. Priority will be given to those with previous experience with role-playing, acting, military, and/or first responder disaster response experience. Those who have participated in past disaster preparedness exercise have found it especially rewarding because you get to support an important community service that saves lives and protects the citizens of your state while getting paid to have fun while doing so. And don't you notice that they seem to reuse the same people over and over and over again, thinking that we won't notice, but we do? Yeah. So, eligibility, there is no security clearance requirement. So it is open to all, but criminal background checks and U.S. employment eligibility checks will be accomplished. All personnel must have appropriate ID and be without criminal background. All IDs are scanned by security personnel, and persons with felony convictions will not be allowed to participate. Also, due to potentially strenuous decontamination process and varying outside temperatures, CRP should not have life-threatening or serious medical conditions. Pay range from $100 to $600, depending on duration and type of support. Lunch, snacks, and beverages will also be provided daily. Now, this would be really interesting if any of you are in that area to volunteer, to go to do this, because boy, look at the information that would provide. I would do it just to get information, although that might be a little dangerous, but it's interesting. So Round Rock, Texas, be on the lookout if you're there or near there, because it's not necessarily going to take place there. It could be anywhere in Texas. They're really not saying that, but that's where they're conducting it. So I don't know, but seems to be practicing for something. Decontamination. All right. So again, be on the lookout for that. Again, it's just north of Austin on Interstate 35, Round Rock, Texas, near Pflugerville. Say that 10 times fast. All right. Okay, let's get out of there and let's go back to here because we have more. Yes, we do. All right. Now, and there's this. Awkward. Biden staffer fails to fire up small crowd at Iowa campaign stop. Has he ever fired up a crowd? Ever? Oh my gosh. There's like 10 people there. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's about 15, 16. No more than 20. Yeah. This was awkward. Biden's staffer failed to fire up a small crowd at one of Grandpa Joe's campaign stops in Iowa on Monday. Joe Biden is currently on an 8-day Iowa tour as he desperately tries to whip up excitement for his failing 2020 bid. "Come on, you can do better than that," Biden's staffer said to the sleepy crowd. "Fired up," he shouted as the crowd of low-energy supporters responded, "Ready to go." The staffer's arms flailed as he desperately tried to whip up the crowd, but failed to get the desired response. The back row didn't even participate. Ouch. Oh, let's watch, just for kicks and giggles. Warning, you might have trouble containing yourself from the excitement generated at this Biden campaign stop. And did you notice that his campaign is like his right across the bus, no malarkey. And then it's such an old word that he has to define it on the side of the bus. But since nobody's showing up for his rallies, I think that they must be coming there just for the malarkey. And since there's no malarkey, they leave. I can't think of any explanation. Maybe they're just angry that there's no malarkey. I don't know. All right, let's listen to this.
We do better than that. Come on, fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up!
Yeah, that was a little bit awkward. As at a separate stop in Emmitsburg, Iowa, another small crowd filled a room as Biden awkwardly attacked President Trump, who is currently overseas at a NATO summit. Trump wants to know who our NATO allies are. He hasn't figured it out yet. It's almost true, Biden joked when somebody's phone rang. Yeah. Just look at the size of that crowd. Oh, there we go. Maybe there's more than, okay, there's more than 20 people, but there's definitely less than 50. Oh my gosh. Well, just counter this with, 60, 70, 80,000 that Trump can draw in easily. And he doesn't have to whip them up. No, they come like all whipped up. Yep. Meanwhile, President Trump is filling stadiums with 40,000 people at his rallies, with thousands of people in the overflow. Oh yeah. Well, maybe I'm overestimating with 80. I don't know the most he's had in a stadium, but it wouldn't matter how big the stadium was. He could fill it to the rafters, and he knows it, and we know it. All right. Well, let's go back now. Here we go. Okay, now this should concern everybody. Everybody. This is of complete national importance, even though it's coming from the UK. Climate change is making horses fat. Can you believe that? Can't have fat horses. My gosh. It's making, oh my gosh, look at that horse. I would think that horse is probably pregnant, to tell you the truth, but okay, let's say it's fat. Climate change is making horses fat as it's causing an abundance of grass to grow. Okay. So think of this, okay? In the West, the horses were just, trotting around the plains for a long time before man came along. Before white man came along, the Indians were, taming the horses and so forth. But did those horses get fat? I mean, they had the access to all the grass they wanted. Did they get fat? No. But now, all of a sudden, yes, it's because there's too much grass growing. That's it. Horses are getting fat. All right. These people are desperate. Horses should be moved into bare paddocks, vets have said, because of an abundance of grass caused by climate change is making them fat. Gillies Moffat, director of Veterinary Center in High Hampshire, said the wetter and warmer the climate has meant the animal's staple food has grown more rapidly than in the past. The vet warned a significant percentage of horses he treats are overweight because of a range of modern socioeconomic pressures, including climate change. Dang, they're making the horses fat. It comes after the British Equine Veterinary Association found in a study of 792 horses last year that 31% were overweight, with vets citing a lack of facilities such as stables and bare paddocks, 48%, as reasons. Their report's top recommendation to reducing their animals' weight was keeping horses in bare paddocks and giving them a weighted food diet. How about putting them on little horsey treadmills? Or, making gyms for horses. I don't know. Maybe exercise them. It's climate change. Horses, fat, climate. Their report's top recommendation, okay. Mr. Moffat believes as a result of the pressure, horse owners are struggling to control their animals' weight, leading to a number of painful physical conditions. He said a significant percentage of the horses we see are overweight. It's partly a reflection on socioeconomic pressures, or it could be the fact that almost all pets are overweight these days. Ask any vet, they will tell you that. People love their pets, they overfeed them. A fact. You see these dogs walking down the street and they're just like big barrels with little legs sticking out of them. Is that climate change? Must be. They must be getting too much grass too. Anyway, yeah, let's move on from this ridiculous article. I had to show it to you though. Yeah, this is, and you know something? There's probably people out there that will read that and start worrying about the horses being fat. But they never worry about the millions and millions of dogs and cats in America that are fat. Why? Not because they get too much grass, but because their owners love them, and when they are asking for food, the owners don't say no. How do I know this? Well, not the two cats that I have now, but my one of my 21-year-old cats that recently passed away was very overweight, and the reason why she was overweight is because she would cry and cry and cry for food, even though she was overweight, and I would feel bad. And I'd feed her because I'd think, oh, I'm withholding something from her. I can't do that. So, yeah. Right. Grass. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go down here. Why? Because we can. Perspective. Melania Trump's Christmas decorations are lovely, but that coat looks ridiculous. This from the Washington Post. They can't say not one good thing about the POTUS at all, ever. This is the most disgusting journalism. Really. It's Christmas time. She's showing the decorations at the White House, and they're saying her coat looks ridiculous. Why does it look ridiculous? This is not an outside coat. This is a very, very lightweight coat that can be worn inside. Get over it, Washington Post. Okay, so you don't like her. You really think that, your opinion matters, that her coat looks ridiculous? Why do you have to add that? Really? It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening to me. This woman never gets a break, ever. Ever. So, yeah, and you should see the person that wrote that. Talk about a fashion don't. She's a big fashion don't. And she's going to tell Melania how to dress? Are you kidding me? This woman is impeccably dressed all the time. Her taste is impeccable. She has wonderful taste. She's brought class and dignity back to the White House, which the past administration made a joke of. They made a joke of the office of the president. This made me very angry, so I wanted to pass it along. So, let's look at this, shall we? Of course we shall. This is from today. So it's hot news, hot and fresh. Just like the Krispy Kreme sign, hot and fresh. You know when you see that hot and fresh sign, you stop. You know you do. All right. Attorney General Barr is already declassifying key Spygate evidence. Well. There's a popular new narrative in both the left and right news media that when the Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz has his latest report publicly released on December 9, it will lead to a huge letdown. It is being claimed that Horowitz's year-and-a-half-long deep dive into issues surrounding FISA warrants granted to the FBI targeting the Trump presidential campaign during the 2016 election and continuing into the Trump administration itself through several renewals of that warrant will lead to no criminal investigations and certainly not any criminal prosecutions. It is confidently asserted that, once again, the so-called deep state is about to demonstrate to the entire country how powerful it is as we get to watch all the key Spygate plotters first day with the new mouth walk away without any consequences. Those pushing this popular new narrative are, quite bluntly, absolutely wrong. So blinded by their own narrative that they so blinded by their own narrative are many of these news media figures and commentators that they can't even see what is happening right out in the open in front of their eyes. No, when have they ever been able to? Because many people have an unrealistic expectation of how Attorney General William Barr will go about declassifying the remaining Spygate evidence and starting investigations based upon that newly declassified evidence. They don't realize he's already quietly doing it. There is an expectation fixed in people's mind that there will be some sort of official announcement, like a press conference or something, where Barr will hold up a binder full of documents and declare he's just now done the long-anticipated declassification of all the remaining classified Spygate documents. But that's not how Barr has been using the declassification powers that President Trump delegated to him back in May of this year. Instead of declassifying key documents all at once, dramatically, Barr has been doing it quietly, one key document at a time. That's right, Barr has already been declassifying and releasing some of the key Spygate evidence collected by I.G. Horowitz to at least one U.S. attorney we know of, John Durham. It is why we keep seeing announcement that Durham is expanding his criminal investigation into the origins of the Russiagate hoax. In just the past week, it was announced that Durham is now opening up 2 new fronts in his criminal probe. A criminal case against a former FBI lawyer who was discovered to have altered a key FISA document, and an investigation into suspicious contracts out of the Pentagon's Office of Net Assessment, ONA, being awarded to key Spygate informant Stefan Halper. Barr has also taken action to give very recently declassified Spygate evidence to the lawyers of the target of a malicious prosecution by the Mueller special counsel as it worked in concert with the Spygate plotters. Sidney Powell, who is a lead defense counsel for Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, revealed this newly declassified Spygate evidence that has long been held back by the DOJ in her explosive court filing back on November 4th. The evidence consists of text messages and emails exchanged between former FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, in which they not only discuss tampering with the FD 302 form from the Flynn interview, they are also seen talking about how they can influence the judge who is presiding over Flynn's case. The Strzok-Page texts have been previously released, but in a heavily redacted form, quietly, without fanfare or other public announcement. Suddenly, Flynn's defense counsel was in possession not only the redacted text messages, but also may have been Flynn's defense counsel was in possession of not only the unredacted text messages, but also may have been a draft section of Horowitz's FISA report. This is because Powell's court filing contains an eye-opening 3-page exhibit in which Lisa Page is being interviewed by OIG investigators who ask her if she had made any material changes to the Flynn 302 form. When she denied having made any edits to the only official record of the Flynn interview, upon which the charge of perjury against him was founded, the OIG investigators then confronted Page with her own text messages exchanged with Peter Strzok, causing her to immediately change her story and admit she had edited the form. Recall that I.G. Horowitz first surfaced to hand off the first collection of Spygate-related evidence to Congress in early December of 2017. That included a large batch of Strzok-Page text messages. The Strzok-Page text messages that were unredacted got an immense amount of press coverage. Later, some text messages were unredacted in which the pair is seen discussing attempting to influence Judge Rudolph Contreras, who was presiding over Flynn's perjury case. Immediately after General Flynn pleaded guilty to a single count of perjury with that 302 form as the key evidence, Judge Contreras was suddenly recused from the case and replaced by Judge Emmett Sullivan. At no time in the next 2 years did we see the text messages that revealed Strzok and Page had also been discussing tampering with the FD 302 form from the Flynn interview at the White House back on January 24th, 2017. This means Barr must have not only recently declassified these particular Strzok Page texts about tampering with the 302 form, the Attorney General went a step further and paved the way for this now declassified key Spygate evidence to be given to Flynn's lawyers. It is transparently obvious that Powell is able to legally use this official FBI document as an exhibit in her court filing because this is an authorized disclosure and the Attorney General approved it. Because if it were not an authorized disclosure, Powell would not dare use it in an official court ruling. And this is interesting. It says, in the text message of 1/24/2017, finding it hard was Strzok trying to reconcile whether Flynn believed he was lying in his interview. In the text message of 1/25/2017, it was clear that you both felt strongly pertain to Strzok and redacted. Page didn't recall whether she took part in editing the FD 302 of the Flynn interview, but upon seeing the text message of the email of 2/10/2017, she believes she must have seen it at some point in the process. Page stated, if she had made edits to the FD 302, they were merely grammatical edits as part of a peer review and not substantive. As Page put it, with no substantive knowledge, she could make no you know that word, edits. Her edits would likely have been done by hand and handed back. At no point in time did Page consult with McCabe on edits, nor was she ever requested by McCabe to make edits or changes to the FD 302. She doesn't recall any objections from Strzok or redacted to her edits. Page stated that it was not unusual for Strzok to ask her to review important documents he was drafting to ensure the use of proper grammar, and therefore would not have been out of the ordinary for Strzok to have given her a draft of the FD 302 to look at, not to alter. At this point, it's pretty clear the 302 tampering texts are included in Horowitz's FISA report, so Barr made an early authorized disclosure to Flynn's defense team. Watch, you'll see I'm right when the report is released, and the 302 editing texts are in there. If you think top FBI officials getting caught tampering with an official document that, after they had altered it, was used to make a bogus perjury charge against General Flynn won't result in criminal prosecutions, you and I are just going to have to disagree about that. So there you go. That sounds like good news to me. There needs to be criminal prosecutions, or America is going to lose all hope in the judicial process. So let's go back now. And I think, let's look at this. Pelosi says we're still in Paris Agreement at UN Climate Conference despite Trump's withdrawal. We looked at that earlier. Undermining POTUS foreign policy, that's illegal. Logan Act. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I'm not going to torture you with listening to Nancy Pelosi because, quite frankly, I'd rather listen to nails on a chalkboard or anything else. All right. So let's go back. And let's look at this. I can't remember what this is. And it says I'm unable to open it. So perhaps it's not even there anymore. But let's try this another way. Because we don't give up that easily. Yada-dum. I don't know. Well, it's gone, whatever it was. So there you go. I guess I'm going to have to start archiving everything because that's happening to me a lot. I go back to find something, it's gone. So anyway. All right. I am going to call that a night. I do have lots more, but I just, my voice is getting really fatigued. And so am I, quite frankly. So that's it for tonight. I hope you guys have a great night's sleep and a wonderful day tomorrow. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth, because deception bites. Thank you guys for all your support, all your encouragement, and all your prayers. And actually, I could really use your prayers. I won't get into all of that, but I could really use your prayers. The way I figure is I don't have to tell you why, because God knows. So anyway, thank you so much, and good night.